Well, the Democrats' national public embarrassment, known as the public impeachment hearings, are now in the rearview mirror. Amazing! Adam Schiff is now waffling on whether impeachment is the best way forward. Oh, and the Democrats embarrassed themselves by, well, debating, which means talking. Oh, and another clown enters the race. It really is Thanksgiving week. Well, Adam Schiff, the chief architect of the implosion of the Democratic National Party. Yes, not the impeachment of Donald Trump. No. He is the architect now of the implosion of the Democratic National Party. He is the guy that somehow convinced Nancy Botox Pelosi he's the go-to, the one that could really nail Donald Trump, and he boxed Nancy Pelosi into a corner. That, and along with AOC, the squad, and the rest of the freshman libloon progressive nutcases that actually run the Democratic Party now. This was a no-win situation for Nancy. There is an awakening going on now among some Democrats, in particular those who have been, if you will, moderate Democrats. They've been elected in very Trump states, in very Trump districts. And they have convinced the voters there, hey, look, I'm a Democrat because my dad was a Democrat, my grandfather was a Democrat. I'm not like those crazos in Washington. I'm going to vote for your best interest. Well, they signed on to this public embarrassment known as the impeachment inquiry because Nancy Pelosi promised them there would never be public hearings, there'll never be a vote for impeachment. We just need to use this as leverage over the president. And Adam Schiff and Mr. Green and AOC and Mad Maxine Waters, where they're impeach 45, they had to formally vote for impeachment for a hearing, for an inquiry. And they didn't have the stunning witnesses they were supposed to have. The whole thing literally exploded on them. And it looks like it's heading for a vote if Adam Schiff can't convince the rabid, foaming at the mouth, libloon progressive nutcases to back off, that impeachment is not the best. And Jake Tapper doesn't understand.
If the facts aren't contested, and your committee is writing up the report, and you don't, at least as of now, have any scheduled witnesses or depositions, do you think President Trump should be impeached?
I want to discuss this with my constituents and my colleagues before I make a final judgment on it.
And you've also said that this week's testimony, quote, goes right to the heart of the issue of bribery. And you've also said that what you've seen is, quote, far more serious than what Nixon did. Explain to me how you have not come to the conclusion that the president should be impeached. I mean, it sounds like you think he should be impeached.
Well, I certainly think that the evidence that's been produced overwhelmingly shows serious misconduct by the president. But I do want to hear more from my constituents, and I want to hear more from my colleagues. This is not a decision I will be making alone.
What do you mean you aren't going to impeach? This is just classic. And Adam Schiff and all of his bloviating about the Constitution and Republicans needing to do the right thing and come along. He's only saying this now because it's not about the so-called Republicans coming over and, quote, doing the right thing. It's about the fact that Democrats behind closed doors are livid. They are screaming, how could you do this to us? And if they weren't embarrassing themselves enough with this impeachment farce, this witch hunt, and for Jake Tapper to sit there and say, well, you know, there's been no refutation of the charges. No, you can't defend a non-offense. Let me say that again, because apparently, you know, facts and truth don't sink into these people. You can't defend yourself over something you didn't do. The president did not commit any type of quid pro quo. There was no bribery. And this idea that, well, he used his office to leverage Ukraine into doing him a political favor. What favor? They got their money. They didn't make any announcement about reopening the investigation. They got their money. There's no there. But then the Democrats, always knowing how to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, go ahead during this process and say, hey, let's roll the cameras and have a national debate, to which they completely and totally embarrassed themselves, because the more they talked, the more stupid they appeared.
I have a lot of respect for the vice president. He has sworn me into my office as a hero. This week I hear him literally say that I don't think we should legalize marijuana. I thought you might have been high when you said it. and let me tell you, because marijuana in our country is already legal for privileged people.
You notice I have more people supporting me in the black community that have announced for me because they know me. They know who I am. 3 former chairs of the Black Caucus. The only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range of people.
No,
my point is...
that's not true. The other one is here.
I said the first. I said the first.
We as Democrats need to fight for a just taxation system. But as I travel around the country, we Democrats also have to talk about how to grow wealth as well.
So let me just tell you what we can do with that 2-cent wealth tax.
2 cents on the top 1/10 of 1% of this country, and we can provide universal child care for every baby in this country ages 0 to 5.
Is it just me, or does Elizabeth Warren just sort of make up numbers and math as she goes? And is she just completely now irrelevant and just a droning wah in the background? And Joe Biden, the sniffer, what exactly is a blaff American?
The only African-American woman that ever been elected.
Well, the proof that the Democrats are really in trouble, not only is Adam Schiffless now trying to backpedal and trying to save some of those down-ticket Democrats running for re-election in very Trump zones, very Trump districts. You have the complete fiasco of the last Democratic national debate, which, by the way, their ratings completely tanked. Now we have yet another clown that wants to get in the race to save them.
Michael Bloomberg is officially joining the presidential race.
Are you stupid or something?
I'm as stupid as stupid does.
When asked exactly why he wants to run, Michael Bloomberg was quoted as saying,
"I'm not a smart man."
What can I say as a conservative? Happy Thanksgiving, me. Hey, thanks so much for watching this rant. Give us a thumbs up and a like. Thank you for spreading the word. We've actually increased some subscriptions, which means now YouTube will work even harder to try to shadow ban us and mess with the algorithm to suppress us. But I do appreciate all of your efforts. Make sure you're a subscriber, and even if you are, you've probably been unsubscribed by YouTube.